From diamond chains that cost $1 million to mansions with more bedrooms than you have fingers, these are expensive items that rappers owned before they passed away. Starting out with King Von, growing up in the streets of Chicago and having multiple run-ins with the law, his odds of obtaining massive wealth was extremely low. But with the help of Lil Durk signing Von to OTF for his raw and real music style, his music career would skyrocket and he would grow a net worth of over $3.5 million. This has only continued to grow larger since passing away, as starting out with Von's jewelry collection, King Von loved getting any iced out chains and watches that he can get his hands on. He was a regular at a store known as Icebox, as after receiving his biggest paycheck for his music, he would end up commissioning Icebox to create his iconic O-Block pendant with a massive Cuban link chain, running him over $125,000 for the piece. King Von would even look after the rest of his crew on his trip to Icebox, where he would end up buying 10 smaller versions of the O-Block chain to give out to his boys.
Real VV, stupid man.
Even though Von's music career to the public was very short-lived, his life inside of O-Block was respected by everybody on his team, so much that once Von sadly passed, other members said that no one was able to get another O-Block chain like Von, so that he would always have the biggest one.
I just feel like nobody should get the big O-Block chain, because I feel like that'll be, bro, just let him have that, you see what I'm saying? Like, let him have the big O-Block chain. That's like legendary, so he should be the only one that had that chain. Nobody shouldn't go get it after him or nothing like that, you see what I'm saying? But yeah, like he the only one, like he deserved that chain, like that's, I don't know, cause you know he ain't here no more, so it's like I just feel like nobody shouldn't get that chain. Like
alongside his O-Block chain, he would constantly rep his diamond OTF chain while out in public. He had it commissioned for another $25,000, as after buying his diamond chains, Von also wanted to buy some luxurious watches. The first watch he would ever purchase would be none other than a Rolex Datejust 41, customizing it with a special green dial and completely icing out the piece with diamonds. This Rolex costed him over $50,000 for the piece, as not only 2 months later, King Von would then pick up an AP Royal Oak 41. This was for his hit song titled The Code with Polo G. Once again, he encrusted the piece with diamonds all over, costing him another $100,000 to the collection. But his most expensive watch in his collection is the AP Royal Oak. This is once again covered in diamonds and it resells for $250,000. While these are some very interesting pieces, that's still without even mentioning his multiple of others, like his throwaway $35,000 Cartier Santos, his iced out Rolex Datejust for $30,000, and his $150,000 Patek Nautilus. But just after King Von's sad passing, Asian Doll would end up having a customized King Von piece made to remember him by, spending over $80,000 to commission the piece. It's a replica of King Von wearing a Burberry shirt that is covered in diamonds. Aside from purchasing expensive jewelry for himself, King Von would always look out for the ones around him, as right when his music career took off with his first ever paycheck, he would end up purchasing his mother's old car off, getting rid of it, and then buying her a brand new Mercedes-Benz, giving her also a ton of cash, buying her a house, where he would then announce in a tweet, "I bought my mama the new Benz, I paid her old car off, and now I'm waiting for the approval of the new house for her. The best son in the world, the prize goes to." For real though, this is all a street guy has ever wanted to do, make their OG proud, and I gave her $20,000 too. King Von ended up closing on the new house for $800,000, and he would show it off on Instagram Live.
Hey, look what I bought my mom in that big. Broke. Stop playing. And she got the bond about the aggressive off the president. Man, how your mama how look? Go ahead, put your mama little house up there so I can flex on you. See, she gonna put a big couch I bought her right here. She gonna put that right there. She gonna put that big TV I bought her up there. So you want to put it over the fireplace. I'm like, man, that ain't gonna work over there, you know what I'm saying?
As King Von loved giving to his family, and he was also in the middle of getting his sister a new Range Rover, but sadly he passed away. This is then when 21 Savage stepped in to follow through on Von's plan and ended up buying King Von's sister the vehicle she has always wanted. He would then release to Twitter, "I never speak on stuff like this because I don't do it for the internet, but y'all are being way too disrespectful. I knew Von's sister Kayla before I knew Von. She's always talked to my little brother. Von was already planning on purchasing the gift for her birthday, but due to his untimely passing, he wasn't able to finish, so all I did was finish what he started. I told Kayla when he passed that I had her for life, and I meant it."
I'm so happy. I love him. Y'all don't know what I was going through to try to get this car. I'm so happy. I can't believe it. He bought me a car.
Which, speaking of vehicles, you need to see what King Von was driving in before sadly passing. His first vehicle he ever purchased was a $400,000 Rolls-Royce Wraith. The Wraith is one of the most luxurious rides in the entire world, being an extremely laid-back vehicle to relax in because it has the highest technology installed into a vehicle ever. It's equipped with a turbocharged V12 engine, and despite its large frame, it can accelerate to 60 miles an hour within 4 seconds. But the special part of the ride is its signature starlit ceiling that lights up the interior of the car during the nighttime. While having the luxurious coach doors that open up backwards to enter in the ride, this vehicle is an absolute dream.
How you up to that?
But Von would continue his car collection with the purchase of a Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 for $90,000. Powered by a supercharged V8 engine, the Camaro hits a top speed of 198 miles an hour while going 0 to 60 in only 3.5 seconds. While the Wraith was Von's daily driver, he'd often ride out in the Camaro whenever he wanted to go very fast. However, for King Von's birthday in 2020, he was gifted an SRT Hellcat costing $80,000. The Hellcat lines up pretty close to the Camaro, but it tops out at 203 miles an hour instead. With the last car in King Von's collection, it would be another Rolls-Royce, this time purchasing the Cullinan for $380,000. This has a lot of similar features compared to King Von's Wraith. However, this ride would end up being gifted to Lil Durk as a thank you gift for starting his music career by signing him to OTF. But this would not be the only gift that King Von has purchased Lil Durk, because with King Von signed to OTF and Lil Durk's label, King Von's music ended up going viral after his passing, meaning that Lil Durk made a lot of money off of the new streams coming in on Von's music. Rather than pocketing the money that Von's music was generating him, Lil Durk would go out of his way to purchase diamond-covered chain pendants to remember his late cousin Newski, as well as a massive, beautiful diamond chain to remember King Von by.
Y'all know that V-Roy Newski D-Thing. Y'all know where they at, man. Music, man.
You know Jury, you know this.
The Cuban link. Water. Shout out Izzy.
However, XXXTentacion got a lot richer and a lot faster than King Von did, and he purchased some of the craziest items that you'll ever see. Starting out with his famous BMW i8, X was constantly seen driving around in this blacked out sports car around the streets of Florida. It was his daily driver, and he even had to show everyone what he has been working so hard for. The vehicle itself costed X $140,000. It also tops out at 155 miles per hour while accelerating to 60 in just just 3.8 seconds. It was the perfect car to fit X's fast lifestyle. Not to mention the unique design of the ride also got the attention of everyone around him, which led to X always taking photos with fans.
Things a lot of fun, huh? That's a nice car. What kind of car is it?
XXXTentacion has also bought multiple other luxury rides as well, just like his beautiful Mercedes G-Wagon that he purchased for 110 grand. Being a large body SUV, the G-Wagon was one of X's favorite rides. Whenever he didn't feel like going fast, he'd take out the G-Wagon as it makes for a much more comfortable ride while also looking very unique and high class on the road. But weirdly enough, the next vehicle he would go on to purchase was a massive Sprinter van that he used for moving things around during a vlog. Whether he needed it for traveling with the people around him, or if it was just picking up items at a Best Buy for one of his famous YouTube vlogs, XXXTentacion wanted to make sure that he always had enough room. During the vlog, he loaded it up with consoles, TVs, and other goods just to help out the youth in his area. He was doing his best to turn around his image and to become a much more positive influence. However, donating to his community wasn't only the people that he helped, because family meant a lot to XXXTentacion, which is why with his first big check, he gifted his mom a Mercedes-Benz that he bought off the dealership lot for 90 grand. However, while purchasing the Mercedes for his mother, he would also end up seeing 2 Chevy Camaros for 90 grand at the showing. So he would go on to purchase both of them and then show them off on social media.
I could pay your mama house payment. I could pay your mortgage, baby. God.
The Camaros themselves are very speedy. Just like the i8, they both reach up speeds up to 180 miles an hour. X liked more than just cars because he also purchased motorcycles as well. From his famous 3-wheeled motorcycle, he was spotted out driving this very often in public. He was also spotted driving multiple Harley Davidsons that he owned, as one time a fan even caught him struggling to even ride the motorcycle. Now, it's without a doubt the success that he had before his passing, he was gonna look out for his family no matter what. But one of the biggest things that he did was set them all up for life by buying a massive $3.4 million mansion for his mom and family in all cash. Right before his passing, he was working out the ownership details of the mansion. But sadly, after his passing, the ownership didn't transfer until August of 2018 to his mother, meaning that XXXTentacion never made it to see his mom owning and living her dream home. But the 15,000 square foot mansion features a ton of things for his family that they are extremely grateful for. From 6 bedrooms around the house and a beautifully designed interior, the home also features a basketball court out back, a swimming pool, and a home theater with soundproofing walls. It also features a ton of marble in the stairs and just around the home in general. Even the front side of the home features a large circular driveway, as well as a balcony that wraps around the front of the home. As a reminder, the mansion was bought in all cash, meaning that X's mom and the rest of his family is living here without a mortgage. Goes to show you how nice and generous of a man XXXTentacion truly was. Even before buying this house for his mom, he also bought his own dream home nearly 1 year prior for $1.4 million, featuring another backyard swimming pool amongst a huge grassy area surrounding the home, to a very large living room with a massive TV, a walkout glass doors to the backyard, as well as having a personal gym inside. This was just down the hall from the massive master bedroom that X had. The house was also great for guest rooms for family to come over, as well as a seating area in the backyard that was covered with the roof of the home. It was his dream home. He mentioned it multiple times during Instagram lives. Unfortunately, he didn't get to spend as much time as he should have inside of the beautiful mansion. Moving away from the 2 incredible properties that he purchased, X also owned loads of jewelry. He didn't show the entire collection off on social media, so I will. He purchased multiple Cuban link chains. These are lined with diamonds as well as VVS diamonds. Then next to his encrusted diamond grill, once again VVS diamonds around the entire face of the grill, costing him 50 grand. Other than that, the jewelry collection of X wasn't ever shown much to the public, although he owned multiple Rolexes as a way of investing his money as they hold its value. And sadly, the rest of his jewelry collection was actually stolen from him on the day that he sadly passed. On June 18th, 2018, XXXTentacion was looking to add to his motorcycle collection, driving over to Riva Motorsports, speaking with a dealer who would go on to tell XXXTentacion that they do cash deals for new motorcycles. This led to X calling his mother, telling her the news of the new bike he wants to buy. She then told him to swing back to the mansion, pick up his uncle before driving to go buy it. X did just that, picking up his uncle, then heading over to the Bank of America to withdraw $250,000.
During your encounter with Mr. Envoy during this time, what was his demeanor like? Fun. He said he seemed happy.
The bank teller ultimately gave X $50,000 in cash, and he ordered a further $200,000 for a later date. X would stuff the $50,000 in a Louis Vuitton duffel bag, then going right back to his BMW out in the parking lot. However, unknown to X was 4 men sitting there scoping out his all-black BMW i8. Once they realized who was driving it, they immediately began tailing him all the way back to Riva Motorsports. With X entering the parking lot and going into Riva, it wasn't more than 2 minutes later when 2 of the suspects got out of their car across the street and followed him inside. They began wandering around the store and even walked straight past X himself. X, as well as the suspects, would lock eyes inside of Riva, as the suspects would go on to purchase ski masks and gloves inside of the same store that they were gonna rob him at. These 4 men were just broke and desperate for money, and they also weren't the brightest, obviously. With XXXTentacion continuing to look at motorcycles, he decides he no longer wants one. He then leaves the store with his uncle, going into his BMW. Sadly, X would sit inside of his vehicle for 5 minutes and park. This gave the 2 suspects inside of the store enough time to leave Riva, sprint across the street to the other 2 suspects that are scoping out his car. As soon as X decides to leave the parking lot of Riva, the suspects then pull right in front of X's BMW and block him from leaving. 2 men then hop out of the vehicle to each side of the BMW, holding firearms, demanding him to roll his windows down, give up the bag of money as well as his diamond chain. X refuses, making the men more angry. With everybody panicking and everyone yelling at X, his uncle would then open up the passenger side door and he would sprint away from X and go back into Riva, leaving XXXTentacion all alone against 2 suspects with firearms. The second man would then go into the passenger side door, which is wide open, rips all of the money from XXXTentacion, steals the Louis Vuitton bag, the $50,000, and even tries snatching his diamond chain, all while the other man sitting at X's window would use his firearm, which would then obviously cause what we all know. The 4 men involved in the case would then later be recognized as Michael Boatwright, Dedrick Williams, Trayvon Newsom, and Robert Allen. All 4 of them being put inside of jail for life, other than Robert Allen, who would end up snitching in the court case, giving everyone the information we needed to know about X. The passing of XXXTentacion took the entire rap world upside down. We saw multiple rappers share their thoughts on X and his legacy, as Juice WRLD would go on to share his friendship with X.
We had a couple like deep conversations, talked on the phone a few times. He had nothing but positive stuff to say. For real, for real. We had respect for each other at the end of the day. And that's what was gonna kind of lead into a friendship. He just said, make sure it's to keep all negative people out of your life. And just make sure that you have good energy around you, pretty much.
Even X's best friend Ski Mask reminisced on the old times and how they came up in the rap game.
I met X in juvenile jail. Both was in juvenile jail spending time. Then we just was like, yeah, we need an outlet to just stop getting in trouble. All we like to do is hit licks and like do hood friends. Long story short, so it's just like, all right, we need to find something to do. So we was like in there just beating on the tables, because all you can really do is sit there and stare at each other. So we sitting there beating on the chairs and stuff, and then we just like figured out each other could rap, and then we just like helped each other.
Another collaborator of X on a few songs would be Trippie Redd, who expressed their friendship in a new interview.
I was going to Miami to do several shows, and I performed in Orlando, and then I performed in Miami with X. Ever since I had met bro, we had just became like super cool friends, and now that's my best friend, I could say.
And even one of X's closest friends, Denzel Curry, would go on to share his thoughts on X's legacy.
There was different eras of X, like black hair era, like when he just had regular hair. When I met him, you know, he was just coming up, just doing his thing, just coming up, just making music, you know what I mean? Had the blonde and black era, when he had the half blonde, half black hair. And that's when, you know, when all the crazy stuff started happening with the allegations, with, you know what I'm saying, the trial, the shows. Then it went to the transition where white hair X, where he first got the tree in the middle of his forehead. That was like his evolving state. Then it went to Indigo X. He described it as Indigo X when we talked.
In an interview, Juice WRLD would reveal that he looked at XXXTentacion as inspiration in the music industry, as that inspiration would ultimately get Juice WRLD extremely rich and buy some of the craziest items you'll ever see. But starting out with his luxurious Rolls-Royce Cullinan, he purchased this ride for over $330,000. Not only does the Cullinan come with a very unique design that Rolls-Royce brings, but it also has unique features like the backward opening doors or the sparkling starlit ceiling on the inside. However, it was just more fashionable for Juice because he wanted a car to feel safe in while driving. This is why he also purchased the extra security features for the ride, which includes the super thick doors that are firearm proof, including the thick windows for extra protection. Not to mention he added customized rims to the vehicle as well. When factoring all of the costs of the upgrades, Juice spent well over 400 grand for the premium ride. However, Juice also made a splurge to get himself a very fast supercar. This would be none other than his 2019 Lamborghini Huracan. Juice had a passion for growing a car collection for himself, so it is no wonder that he purchased one of the most iconic supercars in the world. With the Huracan speeding over 200 miles an hour, it easily did the job when it came to going fast. Following up on his Huracan purchase, Juice WRLD also bought himself a Corvette for another 120 grand as his daily driver. But something Juice always had a passion for was dirt bikes and ATVs. He enjoyed and loved going off-roading with all of his friends, so he would go out and purchase 10 dirt bikes that he can bring all of his friends off-roading with him.
This is the baby right here. Big boy. Yeah, on my mama, nothing but big boy. Yeah, this the one right here. The Red Bull one, y'all. On everything. No capping. Yeah. Ah, this one right there. I know this one, yay. This one right here.
With Juice WRLD dropping stacks of cash on vehicles and a lot more that we'll share later in the video, his most important thing ever was looking out for his family, as he wanted to make sure all of his family members were okay with the opportunity that he was given in the music industry.
Money don't equal happiness, but at the same time, being financially stable knocks off some stress in your life. So they're kind of add on to happiness, but they don't equal it. Obviously, I mean.
With Juice WRLD's Spotify streams only continuing to break records even after years of leaving us, he's been continuously making a ridiculous amount of money for his family. This money has all gone into real estate. But even when Juice WRLD was alive, he still purchased real estate on his own, as he would buy and live inside of his 2019 dream home. This would be none other than a $4 million mansion in California. The house features 6 bedrooms, a chef's kitchen with a top-of-the-line appliances, including a completely soundproof home theater to sit and relax in. Not to mention the large swimming pool in the backyard. This mansion was everything that Juice WRLD dreamed for, and he would even mention so on Instagram Live.
This Juice WRLD crib. I don't think I ever, like, this is my crib, bro. I came from nothing, man. Yo, I come from nothing, though. And made something out of nothing. You see, look quiet, dirt bike. I feel like Meek Mill in this. I feel, man, it's an accomplishment.
As not long after he secured himself the mansion, he would also purchase his mother a $2 million home back in Chicago. As since purchasing, a majority of his family are now living in the mansion with his mother, as he would even share a video online of the first time that they were in the house together.
You can repay your mama for everything that she did for you. You feel me? See, speaking of my mama, here she come right now. Mama, come here. I was just telling everybody about your house. And the world, I got my mama a house. Of course I'm gonna tell the world I got my mama a house.
Juice's mother, Carmela, was incredibly grateful for her son's success. We heard the recording of her during the intro of his song Relocate, as she would thank him for all that he has ever done for her. It was with the continued success of his music after his passing that she would be able to relocate houses once again, this time purchasing a ridiculous $8 million mansion in 2022. This house stretches across 17,000 square feet and has just about every accommodation that you could ever want inside of one home, from having a jaw-dropping exterior with a huge circular heated driveway to even a movie theater room. Not to mention what Juice WRLD would have loved was an indoor basketball court with the Chicago Bulls logo, and the inside has a very modern black and white interior furnished with tons of couches for the living room and a large aisle in the center of the kitchen with an indoor patio off of the back of the home. However, moving on from the 8-digit real estate portfolio that Juice WRLD's career has made, he also loves spending money on jewelry whenever he could. One of the best pieces of his collection is this cross in roses chain. This piece features a huge cross pendant covered in VVS diamonds, as well as roses on top that are also made up of very rare pink diamonds. Then to match the unique pendant, the necklace consists of iced out spheres connected to a complete look of the beautiful chain. Now this ultimately costed Juice well over $200,000 for the piece, but sadly he only got to wear it a handful of times. Another necklace Juice was constantly wearing, however, was this beautiful Chanel pearl necklace that goes for $8,000. Getting into Juice WRLD's watch game, he has easily spent well over 400 grand on them alone. His favorite timepiece would be the AP. He customized it fully with VVS diamonds encrusted into the watch. This is an estimated $150,000. But just having the AP watch was not icy enough for him. He would then end up doing the exact same thing to a Rolex two-tone watch, costing once again another 150 grand. But the final big ticket watch that he purchased was the AP Royal Oak chandelier piece, holding over 70 carats of baguette diamonds to give off the chandelier effect. This costed Juice WRLD $250,000 for the piece. This isn't even to mention just the basic versions of the watches that he had, from other Rolex Submariners, two-tones, Daytonas, the list goes on. Juice WRLD has spent a ridiculous amount of money on jewelry.
Damn. What the?
Much like his passion for crazy watches, Juice also loved designer clothing and shoes. You would always see him wearing something new when in public, and when he hopped on Complex for shoe shopping, he also broke the record for the amount spent, clocking in at $42,000 on shoes and clothes all at one time. This beat out Future's record of $39,000. Even though Juice WRLD might have gone a little crazy when it came to spending his wealth, he also made sure to give it all back to his fans and charities back home in Chicago.
Everything that you're going through, I got you. I'm here. I'm holding your hand just like this.
Juice WRLD made a priority to give back to the youth and help out the people in his community. He even went back and donated to the school that he attended when growing up, giving them tons of money for musical instruments and other things. Even when Juice sadly passed, his mother realized just how big of an effect that he had on people in the world.
You know, after he passed, I just was receiving such an outpouring of just how he changed their lives, and I felt like it was a void.
So she went on to create the Live Free 999 Foundation. This helps support programs to help people dealing with mental health issues. And even though Juice sadly passed, his impact on the world continues to live on. From averaging nearly 30 million monthly Spotify listeners, his family's lives have been changed forever because of Juice WRLD's career. And then also the countless amount of people that are helped by the Live Free 999 Foundation. However, one of the first rappers to ever make significant wealth in the music industry was Tupac. Starting out with Tupac's $1 million car collection, he would first go on to purchase a 1995 Jaguar XJS for $50,000, and mind you, 50 grand 25 years ago is a lot of money. This originally appeared in his music video titled To Live in LA. The 6-cylinder blacked out Jaguar was powerful for its time, and it served as just one of Tupac's frequent rides. In the exact same music video, he also purchased another classic vehicle, vehicle. This would be none other than the yellow 1961 Chevrolet Impala. He would purchase this for $30,000 just for this one music video. Now, adding further into his collection, Tupac would also go on to purchase a Mercedes 500 SL. This would be around $60,000, once again being a convertible that he loved riding around in, as he would even go on to mention the Benz in his song titled Picture Me Rolling, as he would rap the lyrics, "Picture me rolling in my 500 Benz."
Y'all got to back off my... Back off my... Yeah, I'm about to run... Back off my...
Although getting into the SUVs that he has purchased, his first would be a Jeep Cherokee for his 21st birthday. Although this wasn't interesting enough for Tupac, he would later go on to exchange it, and he would put up another $50,000 on top for this white classic Range Rover. Yet the classic Range Rover never ended up staying in his garage for too long. His friend Hussein would end up borrowing this Range Rover from Tupac without his permission, and he ended up totaling the vehicle not too long after. This situation would end up ruining their entire friendship. They would never speak to each other from this point on. The following week, after the Range Rover was totaled, he would be in need of a replacement. He would go on to purchase an $80,000 1996 Hummer H1. He would get it customized, completely blacked out. The Hummer would caught your eye if you saw it in public just by how beautiful it was. This exact Hummer was then also featured in his California Love music video, and sadly it was resold in 2016 for over $300,000, and we haven't heard from it since.
An anonymous bidder just spent a small fortune for the late Tupac Shakur's vehicle. The rapper's customized Hummer sold for just over $337,000. The Hummer H1 was personally customized by Tupac himself.
However, this is nothing compared to Tupac Shakur's favorite vehicle that he ever owned. He would go on to reveal his Rolls-Royce Corniche, as Rolls-Royce has built itself up to be one of the most comfortable and luxurious car companies in the entire world. When Tupac owned his, he would be often seen cruising it around the West Coast in public with the entire top down. He would drive this vehicle everywhere, and it was his main ride.
Tupac, where car you going? Songs, I got the song coming out when Tyson come out.
Okay, all right. Security
Tyson gonna do it.
Despite it being Tupac's favorite vehicle ever, after his passing, it would come out that it actually wasn't even owned by him. Instead, the registration for the vehicle was under Suge Knight's name, meaning that Tupac's mother was never actually able to claim it after he sadly passed. His mother would even say during an interview, and I quote, "I discovered that the Rolls-Royce that he was so proud of and that he loved so much was not even his. And since they were not his, I didn't want any part of it." But moving on from Tupac's vehicles, he also had a huge passion for jewelry. The most iconic piece from his collection was his crown ring. This costed him over $100,000 to be created, which $100,000 at the time was a ton of money. This beautiful ring has a gold base. Tupac would then add the shape of a crown and put rubies and diamonds all throughout the entire thing. Even on the band of the ring, it features a quote, "Tupac in Dada 1996 inscription," which references his relationship with his at the time girlfriend Key Dada Jones. Ever since his sad passing, the cost of the ring has increased heavily, because in 2023 the crown ring ended up going up for auction. It was only speculated to be sold for around $300,000, but when Drake got into the mix of the bidding war, he ended up purchasing this beautiful ring for $1.01 million, which obviously left Kendrick Lamar extremely angry. This also ended up officially marketing as the most valuable hip-hop artifact ever sold at an auction. Now, another piece of Tupac's collection is his gold and diamond pendant, featuring a crown symbol on the front of it with diamonds, and surrounding the piece with even more. The pendant only costed Tupac $20,000 way back in the day, but when it got dented from an altercation with his ops in New York City in 1994, it ended up becoming just that much more unique. Just like many other things that Tupac owned, it was listed at an auction house. That chain ended up selling for $125,000, but next up was the gold glasses that he would wear often. These beautiful glasses were made of 24 karat gold. They costed Tupac $15,000 to be commissioned, but right now it is unknown where they currently are. But it's last documented that Gucci Mane ended up getting them gifted to him in Christmas of 2018.
Now Bae said she got me these glasses, that vintage that Tupac actually wore.
Turn them around.
Bae, these Tupac actual glasses, put them on his face.
And they gold.
They hard.
Almost all of his possessions became more expensive after he passed. Even the famous nose ring that he would wear for the cover of his All Eyes on Me album ended up selling at a private auction for over $20,000. But if you knew Tupac, you would know that he loved rings. Tupac Shakur owned over 30 diamond rings. He would rotate all of the rings that he would wear out in public just because he had that many. And when it came to his watch game, his favorite in particular was Rolex, because he would go on to purchase a Rolex Day-Date with a green dial and a diamond bezel circling the watch. He would end up revealing in an interview it's his favorite piece of jewelry that he owned. This ran him $20,000 for the piece, and he loved it so much that he would end up buying a second Day-Date, this time fully icing out the watch and having a blue dial. But if you own two things you love, why not purchase a third? Tupac Shakur would go on to purchase his third Rolex Day-Date until ultimately changing it up, purchasing a base Rolex Submariner with a black dial. He would also go on to finish his Rolex collection, purchasing a Datejust with an ice blue dial. In Rolexes alone, Tupac spent well over $150,000.
They sell records, we sell records. Well, I guess you could call that selling records. We sell large amounts of records, and they sell a few records.
Now, getting into the Tupac mansion, after he got released from lockup in 1995, he would end up moving out to Calabasas, California. He went on to purchase a 6,000 square foot, 6-bedroom home in Woodland Hills. The home costed a total of $1.3 million. However, during 1995 and 96, he was only renting the home, and then he planned to purchase it outright the following year. But he ended up never getting to purchase it due to his passing. However, it is worth noting that he did purchase a house out in Atlanta, Georgia for his entire family and friends back in 1993. He saw all of the success that he was having with music, and he decided it would be best to look out for those close to him and have them be able to live somewhere where they are safe and protected. Even after Tupac sadly passed, his mother took over the Tupac estate. She would go on to manage the entire business and all of the financials that came with it. Due to the success of her son's music career, she was able to purchase a massive 12,000 square foot mansion, helping her secure a beautiful and luxurious home for herself and family. However, there is one more car in his collection, and it is the most recognized of them all. This would be the well-known blacked out 1996 BMW 750. Tupac Shakur initially purchased this car for $40,000 and would frequently drive it all around the streets, but it became widely known for being the ride that Tupac sadly was targeted in while he was driving with Suge Knight in downtown Vegas. As on the night of September 7th, 1996, Tupac and Suge Knight were heading over to the MGM Grand to watch a Mike Tyson match. Everything during the match was fine, but when they headed into the lobby, Tupac and Suge Knight ended up spotting their ops chilling in the lobby.
Suge Knight and their entourage went to the Mike Tyson at the MGM Grand. Keefe D and his nephew, Orlando Lane Anderson, and two of their friends were also there. Keefe D told LAPD Detective Greg Kading more than a decade ago, in a proffer that couldn't be used against him, the shooting was retaliation after Tupac jumped Orlando and beat him up at the casino. Surveillance cameras recorded the fight. Tupac was angry that Lane had stolen his necklace years prior in Compton. Tupac, Suge Knight, and the entourage left the casino quickly.
Security would quickly break up the altercation. Both Tupac and Suge would head back to their hotel to change and get ready for a night at Suge Knight's club, 662. As around 11 p.m., the two would hop into the famous BMW, and not too long after, driving down in the middle of the street in Las Vegas, they would be targeted by ops.
Knew about Tupac's concert at the club 662. Members, including Orlando and Keefe D, jumped in their white Cadillac and started cruising the strip looking for the offender. Before long, they finally spotted Tupac's caravan. At the intersection of East Flamingo Boulevard and Koval Lane, the white Cadillac pulled alongside the black BMW with Suge on the driver and Tupac on the passenger seats. The back window of the Cadillac rolled twice in the chest, once in the arm, once in the thigh.
With all of the history behind this beautiful ride, the value continues to increase till this day. The current owners have posted it for $1.75 million, making it possibly the most documented and the most famous pieces of the hip-hop industry. However, after nearly 20 years of the crime being unsolved, the police finally arrested a man named Keefe D. That is responsible for the crime of Tupac Shakur's passing, as he would go on to mention that he noticed Tupac because of the BMW.
For 27 years, the family of Tupac Shakur has been waiting for justice. We are here today to announce the arrest of 60-year-old Dwayne Keith Davis, aka Keefe D, of Tupac Shakur. Davis was arrested this morning by my LVMPD criminal apprehension team, and this investigation started on the night of September 7th, 1996. It has taken countless hours, really decades, of work by the men and women of our section to get to where we are today.
As the next rapper sadly barely got to spend any of the money that he ever made. Pop Smoke's rise to fame was extremely fast. He got extremely rich within only 1 month, but he was still able to spend a lot of money. Starting out with his car collection, Pop Smoke bought himself a Rolls-Royce Ghost for $350,000 with his first big payday. This is powered by a 6.7-liter twin-turbo V12 engine, accelerating from 0 to 60 in just 4 seconds. This vehicle tops out at 155 miles an hour. Despite it not being the fastest ride on this list, it excels in luxury and comfort. The Rolls-Royce has an iconic coach door that opens up backwards, plus the beautiful star-lit roof on the inside. Not to mention the Ghost is uniquely designed as it is instantly recognizable on the road in public. As Pop Smoke said that the Rolls-Royce Ghost was his favorite ride of all time.
Hold on, let's see what's going on. Okay. That's it. That's what I'm talking about, boy. Fuck that. That's it. Look. That's it, boy. There it go.
Back $10,000 coat.
Oh.
Come on now, $500 sweats. I come out in sweats every day.
Okay.
But the next ride that he added to his collection was his Bentley Bentayga SUV, as he went on to purchase this vehicle for $210,000. It's another premium ride similar to the Rolls-Royce. It comes in with great craftsmanship to put the ride together, which consisted of a leather interior and a powerful sound system. However, the Bentayga can achieve a good mix of performance and comfort. It's powered by a V12 engine. It travels up to 180 miles an hour and accelerates to 60 in only 3.6 seconds. Although Pop Smoke would end up splurging all over a 2022 Dodge Durango. This costed him 60 grand. He would mention on an Instagram live he purchased it because he was bored. The Durango is iconic to the rap game. Many other rappers are sporting the exact same ride because this ride is relatively cheap for a V8 engine with 120 miles an hour. It's a perfect vehicle for the New York streets. But the New York rapper would also purchase himself a BMW M8 for another 130 grand. This is featured in the music video for his song Christopher Walking. It also became his daily driver. It wasn't a completely exotic car, however, it kept a high profile out in public. Not to mention back when Pop Smoke was only 16, he would actually drive around in a separate BMW 5 Series that he used to own.
I was 16, I was driving a Beamer.
Where you get a Beamer from at 16?
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Well, I was driving a Beamer though.
And could you even were you allowed to
have
drive?
a license.
No license.
Yeah.
At school?
No, I had a license.
You had a license?
I had a license at 15.
I wonder what kind of driver you are.
Yet the fastest ride that he ever owned was his Ferrari 488. He used this in his Welcome to the Party music video, costing over $300,000, and there was only 3,500 ever produced worldwide. However, the vehicle was engineered to perfection with a V8 engine, making it capable of reaching up to speeds of 211 miles an hour with an acceleration to 60 in only 2.6 seconds. The Ferrari was the ultimate joyride car for Pop Smoke. Whether he was recording music videos or just trying to impress people on the street, this vehicle did it all. However, while Pop Smoke loved his vehicles, he would also love his jewelry. He needed his jewelry game to be in check when performing at concerts, so he would go on to spend well over $750,000. This is on several watches, chains, and diamond rings. The most famous piece that Pop Smoke owned was his Wu chain. This was a circular pendant with a large W and a star on top. The entire pendant was made out of gold and it was covered in 20 carats of VS diamonds. This costed the rapper $90,000 for the piece, not to mention the pendant was attached to a massive diamond Cuban link chain. This would go on to run his pockets for a further 20 grand.
Whoa.
Sam Diamonds, baby.
Don't around.
Following his Wu purchase, he'd go on to commission a new chain pendant that reads out the word Pop Smoke. Similar to the Wu chain, it was crafted out of gold and encrusted with VVS diamonds on the top. This would go on to run his pockets $140,000, but Pop Smoke didn't mind purchasing it all because he had to rep his name on a chain. Another unique piece that meant a lot to him was his custom 92 pendant. This reads Pop Smoke at the top in small lettering as well as Wu at the bottom. The number 92 is placed in the center of the piece, referring back to his roots. Since he was born and raised on the 92nd Street of Brooklyn, New York, he would go on to show his love for where he's from in gold and diamonds on a beautiful chain. However, the last piece that relates to Pop Smoke was created by his jeweler Benny. He would actually create all of Pop Smoke's pieces that he ever commissioned. When the news broke of his passing, Benny would go on to create 4 replicas of the Wu chain that we mentioned earlier for his entire family. He even gifted this portrait pendant of Pop for his girlfriend at the time, while outlining it with VVS diamonds, as Pop and Benny were very close with each other.
You see this outside. No security. My jewelry. VS. Come on. They know what's up going on. You know extra loud. Who out here, Rainbow head. They know who run the city. Whoa.
However, getting into Pop Smoke's watches, he would purchase himself a Cartier skeleton for $45,000. Created from a stainless steel base with diamonds all over, it is exactly what Pop Smoke wanted, so he would go out and he would buy it. It's very minimalistic, however, it's extremely noticeable out in public with all of the diamonds shining. Although every designer watch collection you build has to include a Rolex. So he would go on to purchase a Date 840 with 18 karat rose gold, including a beautiful white dial. This would run the rapper 55 grand. He also purchased a Rolex Datejust 41. This has a two-tone stainless steel and 18 karat gold, while customizing it with an orange dial and icing out the entire piece. Pop Smoke loved buying all sorts of watches. Mind you, he bought a lot of them because he was bored. Pop Smoke wouldn't be done here. He would go further on with buying a ridiculous Rolex Sky Dweller with a beautiful white dial and a stainless steel AP Royal Oak 41. However, his most expensive watch would be none other than the AP Royal Oak open worked with a rose gold finish. He would go on to ice out the entire wristband for the watch. This would cost him over $250,000 for the piece. Now, when it came to rings, Pop Smoke owned multiple diamond rings. Overall, he just wanted to wear as much money as he can on his wrists, fingers, and neck, and at one point, he'd be wearing over $500,000 in jewelry at once while out in public. Despite Pop Smoke having tons of riches for himself, it didn't stop him from snatching a couple of watches whenever he could. However, sadly, they ended up turning out to be fake.
Y'all are not woo. Got me wasting my time running down on y'all little fake. Bozo. Hold on. I see the difference. Aye.
The final vehicle that Pop Smoke would go on to purchase would be his white Range Rover SV for $200 grand. While this car is the top of the line quality, it is unfortunately the vehicle that became too famous and that was pictured with Pop Smoke and Mike D just hours before his passing. It was taken just outside of the Los Angeles residence that he was renting out for $10,000 a month, and then would later be broken into when a group of men tried robbing Pop Smoke, resulting in Pop sadly passing.
Police still don't know the motive behind this, whether it was an attempted robbery or something else.
Detectives have arrested 5 people in connection with of rapper Pop Smoke.
Now, not only did the picture show the design of the house that he was staying at, but it also leaked the exact address number that he was staying at too. Not to mention, when Mike D and Pop Smoke finished shopping earlier in the day and returned home, he found a package at the door with clothes from designer Mike Amiri. He'd go on to post a photo to Facebook thanking him for all of the gifts, without even realizing the address was literally on the tag of the bag.
Wait. Mike Amiri. Billy Jean. Good looks, Mike Amiri. Gifts.
With his address now out into the public, it didn't take long for 4 men to decide to create a plan to rob Pop Smoke. They'd go on to wait until 4 a.m. to sneak onto the back balcony of the home that he was staying in, as they were able to locate the house due to Pop Smoke's all-white Range Rover sitting in the parking lot. Once sneaking onto the balcony of the home, they started immediately looking for Pop Smoke in the bathroom. Once locating him, a brawl would quickly break out between the men and Pop Smoke before a very loud pop sound would be heard by Pop Smoke's best friend Mike D and the girl that he had been staying with. Mike D would call 911 right away to report the incident as the four men ran away at the house after stealing a watch from Pop Smoke.
Hello? PD, what are your numbers? Hello, this is the fire department. I know, but you're not talking. We're already on their way. Give me your... Are you in a safe place, sir?
Yeah, I don't know.
Unknown, okay.
It's very sad to see these four men ruin their lives and took Pop Smoke's just for one Rolex, what just so happened to be Pop Smoke's cheapest watch that he owned in his entire collection. They would end up selling the watch for $10,000, split across four people, meaning they took Pop Smoke's life for a split of $2,500.
Hollywood units responded to a call at 3 Hercules Drive in the Hollywood Hills was being broken into by multiple suspects, and that one of them was with a... When officers arrived there, they discovered inside the house had been and transported that to Cedar-Sinai Hospital, where he was pronounced